What I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
Vice President Kamala Harris, in her first TV interview since becoming the Democratic nominee, quickly brushing off Donald Trump's comments on her racial identity. As the vice president hits the campaign trail, there is a growing focus on a group of voters that doesn't usually get recognized as a political demographic. That is mixed race voters, people of two or more races. Joining us now, NBC News correspondent and co-anchor of NBC News Daily, Morgan Radford. She sat down with a group of mixed race and multi-ethnic voters to get their take on this election. Morgan, it is great to see you. What did they tell you?
Hey there, Willie. Good morning. Look, this was a fascinating conversation, just to say the least. We talked to 6 people across a range of different racial, ethnic, and political backgrounds in my home state, the swing state of North Carolina. And many of them said that, look, the census forms and the boxes on polls, they give them pause, sometimes even panic, because of the choices that those boxes force them to make. But even though they said those boxes are getting better and a little bit more inclusive over time, people's perceptions politically can still be pretty narrow. Take a look.
I identify as Indian American and white.
Hispanic, Asian.
They're the face of a changing nation.
When anybody asks, I just say I'm black and Puerto Rican.
All my grandparents are from a different ethnic background.
Multiracial Americans are now the fastest growing racial or ethnic group in the country over the last decade. And their voting power will be significant. In 6 battleground states, the population with 2 or more races has surged by more than 200%. Including here in North Carolina's Mecklenburg County.
Can you raise your hand if you are a Republican, Democrat, Independent? Does the way that you identify racially impact your politics, or specifically how you plan to vote this election?
Absolutely.
How so?
I'm not going to lend my support behind someone who does not support people who look like me.
I don't think he sees me as who I am.
Former President Donald Trump.
Yes.
And what about the rest of you?
I just don't think that Kamala Harris has anything vested in the air finger quote black or Hispanic experience in so much as it would be identified by anybody that lives in those communities.
You're saying you don't think that she can help black or brown people?
No, I mean, going to Howard don't make you black.
A conversation that quickly turned to this moment in a July interview at the National Association of Black Journalists.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
What did you think when you heard those comments?
Highly offensive. I mean, I think probably every multiracial, mixed race, biracial person has had the experience of someone else telling them that they are not something enough. I think it's kind of triggering, right?
I think it is impossible to be biracial in America. And I think that it requires that you're covering all bases at all times. And it requires constant recognition of both identities. And I think when Donald Trump says stuff like that about Kamala Harris and implies that she's like picking a race for political advantage, it's tapping into an incredibly familiar sentiment that I think everyone on this panel can understand.
LaMarie and Adul, as Trump supporters, when you heard that comment, as mixed people, how did it register with you?
Well, my first thought was, that wasn't very well thought out. At the same time, though, when I heard it, I didn't hear it as an attack on blacks or Indians. I heard it more so of him commenting towards identity politics and the appeal that some take to play up one side of their race over the other.
Adul, I see you nodding your head.
I agreed with him. I didn't know she identified as black because everything I saw was first South Asian, first Indian. There's none of that identified as black.
Regardless of her parents, I mean, she was born in this country, and she identifies as a black person in this country in an American way, in a uniquely American context.
I've never heard her identify herself as a black woman.
She said multiple times she's a black woman.
I've never heard it.
But I'm black, and I'm proud of being black. Politics sometimes becoming personal this year, with mixed-race Americans having representation on both tickets.
I don't agree with anything J.D. Vance has to say. I mean, almost nothing. But I think it's incredible that we've gotten to a point where the Vice President of the United States can have a wife named Usha Chilikari and a son named Vivek. That doesn't mean I won't vote against him in November.
Even though you disagree with Kamala Harris politically, do you feel some kinship towards her as a mixed person?
Not personally. I find a lot of her trajectory to not be my brand of woman leader. We've got 3 major international crises going on and someone applying to be commander-in-chief. As a woman, I want to see you do more than, appeal to giggling and having a girl moment on the stage.
Was there ever a moment that sort of forced you to confront the concept of race?
For me, it's more about ethnicity. As you guys can see, I have an accent, right? And I speak with an accent. I don't think with an accent. You just learn to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
A conversation with implications beyond the ballot box.
I think every time we see polling, it's about race. And, as a candidate of color, you put a lot of stake into how this candidate represents, say, the Black experience or the Indian American experience. I think we will never ask Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Bill Clinton or George Bush to do the same thing. I think white people are expected and people of color aren't.
To do what?
To be in the highest office in the United States.